My name is Payton Dollins. I am a percussionist at Northwest Missouri State University studying music education, and I play the drums. I feel like I never actually chose to play the drums. The first lesson came from my grandpa seeing me like pantomime playing the drums to a random song in his car while he was giving me a ride somewhere. And he told my dad, "You should give that boy drum lessons," because at that point we've already tried every single sport imaginable. And trust and imagine, it did not stick. So he was really trying to, push me into something to explore different avenues. Because I explored the sports thing my entire life, but the musical avenue came from my grandpa seeing me do this, and he got me drum lessons at the School of Rock, and lo and behold, it stuck, and that's where I'm at today, and he's the main reason that I'm even playing the drums. My main music ed inspiration came from Shane Fuller at Liberty North. He is a percussionist himself, so we had a very close mentorship. I learned a lot under him, and he provided the initial inspiration to become a teacher rather than just be a performer, because he was so good at what he does and he was so effective, and he left a lasting impact on me, and I hope to be able to do that for my students and the future generation. I mean, it's gotta be finals night with the Cavaliers. It's gotta be. I was thinking mainly like Northwest performances or like my local band performances, but man, the Cavaliers. Finals night, that was electric. So many emotions like culminated up into that one moment, like 3 months of work led up to this one final performance, left it all out there, and you're sitting in the front ensemble and you look up and you see 100,000 people just watching the entire corps. It's a feeling that you don't really get very often. A lot of people don't have access to, so I'm very grateful for that, and that'll always be close to me. Oh, the Cavaliers. They're one of the most decorated and probably iconic drum corps groups that are still around today. They're based out of Rosemont, Illinois, and they've been around since 1949, so they've been around for a very long time. They're the only all-male corps group still active, and with that comes the identity of brotherhood, which, being in a fraternity here, Phi Mu Alpha, I already kind of resonate with brotherhood, like a very essential part of myself resonates with brotherhood, and seeing that Cavaliers take that kind of similar approach with bond between your brothers and people that you're going to spend your entire summer around. It's important that you foster those relationships. Being able to be part of that, even if it was only for 1 year, it not only changed me as a musician, but it really pushed me as a person and like a man. I feel like it goes without saying, you spend an entire summer with people you never met before. From your every waking moment, there's never a moment alone. You're always with these people, so you got to make the best of it, and I feel like we did just that. On the drums, right now, probably Mark Juliana, because I feel like I discovered him a little bit too late for how long I've been playing the drums. Absolute monster in terms of rhythmic accuracy and improvisational flow. He does a lot of live jams, live performances, live transcriptions. He does it all, and he's an absolute monster. I don't think there was ever like an overnight or aha moment that made me want to play the drums. Even before I started playing the drums, I was involved in music because I used to take dance. So I was really used to internal pulse and movement, and I feel like percussion has a lot more movement-based interaction rather than other instruments like woodwinds or brass. It came very naturally to me, and a lot of the stuff that I've learned came from me pushing myself, and if you find something that you're really good at that you can push yourself to do, I think that's something anybody should take advantage of. kind of music that I listen to reflects the some of the like the little nuances and intricacies I throw into my playing. Like for example, I grew up my entire life listening to rock and metal, so that's kind of where the power and velocity comes from in my playing. But as I've grown up, I've listened to a lot more like jazz and fusion and independent artists, and you learn a lot of things about musicality and phrasing and how to tastefully embellish things, how to set up other people, whatever you're playing with a group, how to express yourself in a way that is meaningful to you and not just a carbon copy of something else. So I think most of my influences come from the music I'm listening to at the moment, but there's also lasting, long-term impressions of the kind of music that I grew up listening to. At this point in my life, I feel like I'm disciplined enough to where there really isn't a single motivation. It's just a habit at this point to improve. I feel like I've gone through the motions of practicing and, standing in front of a mirror, playing the same thing over and over again, sitting in a practice room, playing the same passages for hours. It gets to a point where you're kind of just on autopilot, so to speak, not necessarily because you're always thinking about it, but there is never one single motivating factor that pushes me to be better. It's just, every day it's what can you do today that'll top what you did yesterday? that's kind of the mindset. Not really anything like long-term or short-term goals wise. It's all in the moment. What can I do to improve upon what I did yesterday? It's always a battle of like you versus you. Most never really compare yourself to anybody, because that's how toxic relationships form. It's always just how can you prove yourself? Never compare yourself to anybody else. I mean, not really, because I don't know what there really is to escape. I feel like my entire life revolves around music, and if I'm using my drums to escape music, then I'm doing it wrong, you know? Like, that's all my life is music. I wake up, I go practice, I go to class, I practice, I do performances, I write music. It's just an endless cycle. So drums aren't necessarily an escape, but more of a mechanism to channel my emotions. With where I'm at in life, I like to think Lydian Collective's East is a good representation of how I feel and like my personality. It's a very content, I guess you could say, jam song. It's just a fun jam and has a very catchy melody with a lot of the things I like, you know, metric modulation and syncopation. So it has the interesting factor of, you know, complex musicianship while being easy to digest and easy to listen to. Anytime I play a metal breakdown, that's probably where it's at for me. I don't know what it is about metal breakdowns, but the heavy backbeat and the trashy cymbals and the complex kick patterns, it always scratches that itch in my brain that nothing else quite can.
Disgrace is yet to find me, but I see it every
Never take anything personally. I feel like there's a lot of personal setback that comes from taking a lot of feedback and criticism to heart rather than channeling it into becoming a better musician. Setting your emotions aside and doing what you want to do. And if you truly want to do music, then there shouldn't be any sort of criticism that holds you back. You should always be used as a catalyst to get better.